Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Fits. Let's see, let's see if if anything I say this morning fits, gives you a fit or fits. I come to this talk in the morning with some excitement. If I didn't have any excitement, energy about it, and by excitement I mean energy, I wouldn't do this. And every morning, something happens. I come in with a blank, turn on, get some coffee, turn on Morning Joe, I look at the Facebook. There's nothing there. And so then on Morning Joe, somebody was talking about what Einstein said after the McCarthy hearings and the McCarthyism in the early 50s. And he said this reminds him of what he came to America to escape from, which was Hitler and Stalin, and so he came here to escape that, and here it was again. But he said, America always rights itself like a gyroscope. And that just, boom, went off, a gyroscope. And there was my metaphor that I wanted to talk about. What is the a gyroscope rights itself. You make a toy. Kids have, I remember having a gyroscope, a toy. You have a gyroscope, you turn something over, it rights itself. It's also a compass in the sense that it points to true north, whereas a magnetic compass, we believe points to true north, but it can be off a little bit. If you stick a nail in it or something, some metal will draw it off, and you have no way of knowing that you're going off course until you start going in a circle and you see your own tracks there. Wait a minute, I'm going in a circle here. What's wrong with this compass? And then the Trump firing and the question, can America right itself? Are we tipping over? What's going on? I wanted to just focus on this gyroscope here as a metaphor that will kind of give us a lever. Archimedes said, if you give me a lever, I could lift the earth. Well, a metaphor is a lever that you can use to restore understanding. But the key to a metaphor is the truth that comes with awakening. And that truth that comes with awakening, whether it's many awakenings or little ones or big ones or whatever, there's no measurement of awakening. Awakening is just when you turn the light on. And the light can be like a flash bulb, boom, or it can be you can hold it on for a while. But awakening is basically understanding that includes what you didn't understand before in a bigger picture. So it's like if you have a little candle and it only shows part of the room and the rest is kind of like darkness around you. Awakening is when you flip on the light and you see the whole room and your fears are relieved. You know where you are. You're no longer lost. You are grounded, you are righted, the gyroscope is activated, and you right yourself. You know where you are. You know that there's nothing to fear. So this awakening, the gyroscope, is such a great metaphor. So I was thinking too about the news today is the panic, fear. It's kind of like you're on a ship and suddenly there's a sudden change in course. Wait, where in the hell are we going? Or you're in an airplane and suddenly there's a sudden change in course and there's a panic. Ding, 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 ding. What's going on? What's going on? Right. So what kind of compass is the pilot following? Where's he going? Or is there something, you look out the windows. Am I upside down or right side up? I don't know. You lose all reference, you see. And that creates tremendous panic. When you lose your lighthouse, when you lose your reference points. And so we're in a place right now in our nation's history where suddenly our familiar reference points, the lighthouses, the trees, our neighborhood, is suddenly in question. Where are we? What's going on? You see, and who's at the helm? You know, what's the captain doing? Suddenly, this is not. You know, something is wrong, and so it's kind of like the a magnetic compass will go off course because of conditions, and the conditions would be a nail or a piece of iron next to the needle. So the needle is magnetic. So anything that attracts it will pull it off, you see, like that. So let's take a look at today's thing. Yesterday we talked about the dilemma, and we're in a dilemma now. We've been in ambiguity, but now we're in dilemma. And ambiguity is when you have the left view of the liberal view of the world, and the right and the conservative view of the world. So you got the left and your right. And they're both of equal value, and they both have logic, and they both have good standing, they both have principle, and they both make up America. So we're kind of like been going along, well, I can be a liberal or I can be conservative. I can be for Trump or Hillary, and it's like you choose your team, and then you identify with your team. And we've been going along this like for 40 years. Boom, boom, change power a little bit, but nothing really changes. Suddenly, something's going on now, something different, something we've never experienced before. What's going on, you see? Now we have a problem. Now we have a dilemma. Because the dilemma comes when you have to choose one, but you can't because they're both opposites. So either you're for Trump and you keep saying, well, this is all just fake news, this Russian thing is a hoax, it's all Obama doing it, it's all corrupt politicians and everything. Trump is right. Trump's the good, you see, and the other side is the bad. Okay. Now this is on-off thinking. Either you're on Trump or off Trump, but you only got two choices. But now there's a dilemma because you have to. The dilemma comes when you have to choose one, but you can't, because the other one pulls you. So we're in this place where we can't just continue in our ambiguity of being, because there's no threat. But now there seems to be a threat. Now there seems to be, whoa, what's, is that an iceberg we're headed to? What is that iceberg in front of us? So there's a threat, so now we have to choose now, but yet we're still clinging to our old choices, our old on-off thinking. So this, we talked about yesterday, about this growing tension to a point which we haven't reached yet, where there's going to be a dramatic shift. And as Einstein said, America will right itself. Because there is a gyroscope within, you see. And there's, so let's pick this up. And so I put this up, the gyroscope within. Now it's interesting that it's like both Buddhism and Christianity both say that there is a problem. There is that mankind has a magnetic compass that is always off of true north. It's either a way off or just a little bit. But it seems to be off by some people, are just a little bit off, and some people are just crazy. They're not even connected to our reality. So that's way off, you see. So what causes this magnetic compass to to not be in alignment with true north? Now, true north is life. You could say it's God, or you could say it's life. But it's in alignment. So religion is all about getting in alignment with God. Because you get in alignment with, so you got to get that magnetic needle over there and get it in alignment with God's needle. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Which means in heaven is God's law, life's law, and on earth is man's law. So we got to get these things in alignment. So the two needles are in alignment. That's the goal, you see, in both Buddhism and Christianity and all the major religions. This something is about getting in alignment. But the problem is that human mind is a magnetic compass. And the human mind is influenced by conditions. Conditions being your family, your religion, your race, your whatever, everything's conditions. And so conditions are both the world conditions, your history, your time, your place, and all that, and your interior conditions, which is your memory, your personality, your character, what you inherited, all of those inner conditions. So you've got inner conditions and outer conditions, all of which are like nails in the magnetic compass. And depending on how many nails you got, depends on how off your compass is going to be. And the interesting thing about us, you see, is that we want to be in alignment. So we get into a group or a political party, or get alignment with a political politician or a savior or something, and if we feel like, well, they're going true north, so I'll get in alignment with them, and then I'll be okay. So then you get with a bunch of magnetic compasses, and you all get aligned up with that party, you see, or that ship, and you trust that ship, you trust that alignment then. And then everything else is off alignment. You're the one, righteousness is having true alignment. So if I'm righteous and I got the true north, everyone else is wrong but me. I'm okay, I'm saved, I'm chosen, I'm the elect, I'm going true. You guys are going to hell, you see. So there is this factor about humanity and about the mind, that it's like a magnetic compass. And Christianity says, well, it's original sin. They go back to the beginning, man is fallen, and he can't get up. So only God can pick him up. So only the gyro compass will pick it up. So where's the gyro compass? Well, it's out there. So you got to get in alignment with it out there. Now Buddhism says, okay, man is fallen, and instead of original sin, it says ignorance. And ignorance has two handmaidens, greed and aggression. So greed and aggression, created by ignorance, create a magnetic compass that's off course. But it believes it's right, you see. It believes it's right, but it's off. And it operates under on and off thinking. And this was the thinking of Adam and Eve. When they bit the apple, good or bad. It's good or it's bad. It's on or it's off, you see. And that you got two choices, either or. But in order to get the two choices, you have to divide the apple into two parts, you see. So no matter which one you choose, you've always got half an apple. You see? So you're always off course because you can't choose the whole. The way we look at the world divides the world into two parts. Left and right, liberal, conservative. Right down the middle. We got two halves. And we think, well, we'll get the whole apple if we choose half the apple, you see. So if I just choose conservatives and get rid of the liberals, we'll be whole and we'll be in alignment, you see. But the other half of the apple is there. So that doesn't work. So you just keep going back and forth, But now we got to choose the whole apple because something's really gone wrong, you see. There's a threat. So, so the difference is, in religion, as long as religion points to the gyro compass out there, and you find the gyro compass by getting into a church or a group, you're missing the true gyro compass, which is in your own heart, you see. So this is the difference between, and not to say that Christianity misses the boat here, it's just that the way it's practiced now is that God is outside, and you can find him in the church or in the doctrines, and so or the Bible, you see. So that's getting alignment with some form, some condition. And now in our modern history, the religion has gotten political. So now religion has gotten, and Trump is making it more so. Now pastors have the right to, he's trying to sign an order saying that ministers can be political. So politics has become, and religion have become one, you see. And that is a magnetic compass that's pointing to self-interest, and we're off course. So we can't really trust religion. Everybody's leaving religion. Where are they? They're trying to find the gyroscope within. So all this meditation, mindfulness, yoga, self-help, New Age, all of this stuff is basically trying to find the gyroscope within, because we feel we're out of alignment. This is a personal and a social feeling. We're off course. Everybody, America's off course. Well, right, yeah. But this feeling is not in America, it's in us. So each of us feels that we're off course. And this is the point of awakening, is that the awakening, the awakened mind realizes that, and this is what Krishnamurti would always say, you are the world and the world is you. You are the world, the whole thing, and the whole thing is you. So that means that the gyroscope is within, it's not outside. So we have to get in alignment within if we want to get in alignment with the outside, with the world. The alignment starts within, you see. It doesn't start by getting in alignment with something outside of you. It starts by getting in alignment with yourself. And that means, that's what a spiritual practice is. That's what happens when we realize that the cause of my feeling lost and out of alignment is not caused by the world, or conditions, or politics, or institutions, or the liberals, or Obama, or anything like that. The cause is not outside, but the cause is my own ignorance. And this is why I have finally landed in the Dharma, which is the life teachings. And this is not just in Buddhism, it's in all the wisdom teachings of the world. It's all the same teaching. And that is that this ignorance, which in Christianity they call original sin, or a false idol would be the nail in the magnetic compass. That you're aligning yourself with some lighthouse or something out there, some politician or some church or some religion. You're aligning yourself with that, you see. And you're not listening to your own inner gyroscope. You've surrendered your own gyroscope to some external ship. You're on a ship and it's going somewhere, and you don't check where you're going. You don't look out the window. You don't look at the map. It's kind of like, in the car, when you surrender to the navigator, and you don't look at the map, and so you're just going where the navigator tells you. And I almost missed a wedding once. I put in the road, but I didn't put in the right county. I don't know whether it was Chesterfield or anyway. And so I was going to a wedding, and I got out in some field somewhere. So where in the hell am I? Well, I didn't, I trusted. I didn't verify. I didn't look at the map, you see. So it was like trust but verify. Reagan was good on that. So this whole idea here of following the nail and missing the mark, and when you realize, when the realization that you got nails in your compass and you can't pull them out, that begins your desire to awaken. That begins your heartfelt. And what that heartfelt desire is the gyroscope. The gyroscope is in the heart. The magnetic compass is in the mind. And the heart, you see, always points to true north despite conditions. So if we want to get up, we have to realize that the cause we've fallen is because of our own conditioning. And that the blame is not out there, but there is no blame. It's just my conditioning. So I become interested in getting the nails out. I become interested in finding the iron pieces around my conditioning that are pulling my compass off. Because I want to get my magnetic compass in alignment with my heart compass, the gyroscope, so that if there's any deviation, if there's any deviation between the magnetic compass of the mind and the compass of the heart, after we become practiced in this, any suffering, any suffering that the mind feels, we recognize as a loss of a getting out of alignment. And the noticing of that getting out of truth pulls us back. All you have to do is see it. Because then awakening and seeing comes from the heart. Awakening, awareness comes from the heart. Consciousness and experience and all of our little sense of me comes from the mind. So we got self-interest up here, and we got life interest in the heart, which is the gyroscope. So when the mind begins to see that the way to truth and happiness and peace is by surrendering. Surrender is the way you get the nails out of the gyroscope, and surrender is the way to the heart gyroscope, or getting out the magnetic compass, and surrender is the way through to the heart, which always rights itself. So you can call, if you want to, in a religious context, you can call it God's nature. This is the God dwells within as you, as my old guru used to say. So the gyroscope, or God, dwells within you as you see. And that changes everything. Now I can trust myself. Now I can trust my intuition. I can trust my feelings. If something doesn't feel right, I can trust that. I can be curious. I don't say, well, I don't believe it, so it's kind of like in yoga too. I mean, when I first got into yoga, if I didn't feel like I was on the way to enlightenment, the teacher would say, well, you just got to do more yoga. You got to try harder. You see? Or in Christianity, if you don't feel like your life's in alignment with God, well, you got to believe harder. Put on more belief, you see. That's not the way to the heart gyro compass. So, in Buddhism, I mean, it's very practical, the Buddha teachings. And when I say Buddhism, I don't mean a religion. I don't mean you got to go become a Buddhist and all that. I'm not a Buddhist. But the teaching is scientific. It's like practicing science. You see, science is not a religion, and Buddhism is not a religion. It's a practice of getting in alignment with your own inner gyroscope. And so the basic alignment of Buddhism is the Four Noble Truths. And the first Noble Truth is basically, there are nails in your compass. That's called suffering. There are nails in your magnetic compass. You can't see them, but they're there. And that's why you suffer. The cause of your suffering is the nails. And then the third Noble Truth is you can pull out the nails and suffering will cease. Well, how do I do that? Well, the fourth Noble Truth is there are 8 ways to pull them out. And it gives you a practice. And the primary practice is being mindful. Learn to notice the nail as a nail. Learn to notice the nail as a nail and not I'm a victim, somebody's crucifying me. Who's doing it? Who's putting these nails in me? Who's crucifying me? That is not the way to pull the nail out. You can't pull the nail out by blaming somebody for putting the nail in. You put the nail in. And this is awakening when you realize that I've been putting the nails in my magnetic compass and causing myself to be out of alignment with my heart. It's very simple. And it comes as a, it is so simple. It's kind of like you're standing here and you got your hand on a, you know, my mother had one of these stoves, but it's a stove, I forget what you call it, but you can't see the burner. It's all just one flat thing. So you're standing here talking, you said, damn, something's burning. Oh, my hand's on the burner. Well, the seeing that your hand's on the burner is seeing a nail. Oh, I put that nail, there's a nail, I put it in there. And the seeing of it pulls the nail out. And that's called being mindful. And so meditation basically creates the conditions so mindfulness can happen spontaneously. You can't make mindfulness happen because that's the compass. The compass can't do anything because it's got nails in it. So you have to realize that so you can see the nails. And when you see a nail, that pulls it. The seeing is action. The seeing, because the seeing comes from the heart. The heart is awareness, so the seeing comes from awareness. Consciousness is a magnetic compass. You see the difference? This is a big confusion. Consciousness is the mind, and consciousness has the sense of self in there that is conscious. So the sense of self and that what the subject and the object, me and what I'm looking at, is all part of one mind. So this sense of me that's suffering is a mental process. And it's created by the nails in it. You see, awareness is not a mental process. Awareness can be aware of mental processes. So awareness is not mental process. So awareness has no self to it. Awareness has no me. Me is in consciousness. Awareness has no time. Awareness has no place. Awareness has no conditions. Because awareness can be aware of all of that, you see. So Eckhart Tolle keeps talking about awareness is like space, you see. Space holds consciousness and experience. Consciousness is experience. I know I'm conscious because I'm experiencing something. You see, I'm experiencing this body, I'm experiencing you and this room and everything. I'm conscious of that, but that's not awareness. Awareness, in our culture, awareness is sleeping. Awareness is not even there. We're all just in these little conscious boats running around in circles, getting into fleets, belief systems, all looking for the awareness, the alignment that we can't find because we're looking for it with a magnetic compass. So I hope this, we'll stop there, and I hope this metaphor of the gyroscope within is helpful, and also helpful to me to realize, to have faith that America has a built-in gyroscope, which is called the Constitution, and that Constitution can right itself when it falls over. And right now we're in the danger of falling over. So I shall see you next time. Thank you.